about the talk of the town. We're talking about Ethereum against Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETF, and we're also talking about the major decline, the drop we had on the Bitcoin chart last Monday. So let's quickly dive into the chart. I'm trying to keep this video short and to the point to not waste your time and to feed you with relevant information. So let's go. This is the weekly chart, Ethereum against Bitcoin. I want you to notice the obvious, and the obvious here is Ethereum against Bitcoin is in a strong downtrend. And yet I'm very optimistic, and I'm happy to explain why I'm so optimistic about Ethereum. On the weekly chart, we can see a strong triple bullish divergence on the RSI, and not only on the RSI, but also on other oscillators. And this suggests a reversal most of the time, especially when it comes from an oversold area. And it doesn't happen that often. And as far as I know, this is the very first triple bullish divergence, or even like a bullish divergence, or even a normal bullish divergence on the weekly chart, on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. So this is promising. Another thing I want to show, and this is like more from a Burbicator Pro perspective, the Burbicator Pro flashed here a bull signal. More often than not, especially on the weekly, it suggests more upside potential. It also displays the point of invalidation, which now sits around 0.047. From a EMA perspective, it looks very promising as well. Happy to explain why. The blue line is the 12 EMA. The red line is the 21 EMA. Notice the big gap we had between those two EMAs when Ethereum was downtrending against Bitcoin. And here, quite recently, we haven't seen this behavior for such a long time. The distance is getting smaller and smaller. We might see a bull cross in the next 1 or 2 weeks. If this happens, then in my opinion, the path of least resistance for Ethereum against Bitcoin is to the upside. Why? Well, there is a bullish divergence. It crossed the EMA. And again, when price crosses the EMA, that's a signal in itself, because an EMA can be used to determine a trend. Secondly, when two EMAs are crossing each other, that's also a signal. This could also be considered as an entry. On top of that, we have the bullish divergence, and we also have this RSI breakout, as you can see here. So ideally, we want to wait a week, like the weekly close. If it closes like this, that's really bullish, because note how long Ethereum was actually trading below the 50 level, meaning the momentum wasn't there. The bullish momentum wasn't there. It could happen. It's possible that we can cross again below the 50 level, but at this point, I think that's the less likely scenario. So all with all, I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum for different reasons. On top of that, we do have the Ethereum ETF. You might ask yourself now, wait, Jimmy, the ETF, everybody knows about this. Maybe, or most likely, this is the buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news event. It could be. However, this is very different compared to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin ETF was known for quite a long time. And on the 11th of January, so when the ETF was actually approved and it could be traded, we saw a major dip of 20 something percent, 21.4%. And then it resumed to the upside. What is this telling me? This tells me that the ETF in itself as a mechanism was not priced in. However, the hype towards the ETF was priced in. And this situation is very different compared to the situation of Ethereum. Nobody expected a Ethereum ETF, maybe even Vitalik not. And we saw a major crazy pump, one of the biggest on the daily chart, 20% almost to the upside. We haven't really filled the entire move, which I believe in itself is quite bullish. We're still respecting this SNR level. But again, people were only were able to build a Ethereum position to ride the Ethereum narrative since 20th of May, meaning a lot of big players, they did not have the time to build up a position. They had no time or enough time to build a really good, strong position, just like what happened with Bitcoin ETF narrative. So again, the hype of the narrative is priced in, I believe. And I don't believe that the actual mechanism of the ETF is priced in, because this is simply impossible. Quickly, the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin is just back at range low, back to the monthly SNR level. I do consider this as actually a bounce from the MA. It's just a distance of 1%. Ideally, I would love to see that the wick tapping below that 200 MA and then popping up again, entering that range again. I consider this as a legit falling wedge. I am absolutely not comfortable to short this. I would rather prefer to long this, although I do see weakness on the low time frames. But eventually, when zoomed out, this looks pretty good. Since Bitcoin was in different consolidation phases since the bottom here in 2020, each consolidation, each rectangle resulted in an up move. As you can see here, as you can see here, as you can see here. This is another consolidation, another rectangle of 120 days, more or less. So I'm not too worried about that. So to circle back to Ethereum, it doesn't look that weak, in my opinion, and I'm especially and particularly bullish on the Ethereum against the Bitcoin chart. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and very likely I will rotate today some of my Bitcoin into Ethereum. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give a like and comment, share it with your friends. If you did not like this video, no problems. We can still stay friends. Let me know why. And until the